Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we want to take a look and compare Selene to Velidreth on a Stamina DK. I will also do some tests on what actually procs Selene, because as you know, when we look at Selene, when you deal direct melee damage, you have a 15% chance call on a primal spirit. So you need to have direct damage abilities. Velidreth, on the other hand, when you deal damage, you have a 20% chance to spawn 3 disease spores. Here, it doesn't matter what damage you do. This has a 9 seconds cooldown and a 20% proc chance on any damage. And this has a 4 seconds cooldown and a 15% chance to proc on direct melee damage. The first thing what we will do is just check what Selene actually procs from, and then we will do 2 DPS tests where we just see the DPS difference in Selene and Velidreth, and I also want to talk a little bit how it performs in trials. So now I will just basically use all my abilities on my bar to see whether he procs or not a few times. Because, for example, on Venomous Claw, rake an enemy with your claw, dealing 4400 poison damage and an additional dot. So you see it has one direct damage component at the start, and then it's a dot. So we will just go through all the skills. As you saw, it procced pretty fast. Let's see if it also procs from the dot. Nothing. That was from the initial hit again. But not from the dot, so that's working like it should. Now Deadly Cloak. Create a ring of floating razors around you, dealing 2.6k damage. And this implies it's just some sort of a dot. Still procs. So what it doesn't really say that it is a dot. It probably functions the same way as Flames of Oblivion. It registers as direct damage because the dot is not on the enemy itself. You basically have the damage around you, and then every 3 seconds it can hit the enemy, and that's why it's probably classified as direct damage. Noxious Breath. Exhale a corrosive blast to enemies in front of you, dealing 2300 poison damage. And an additional dot. So you also have one direct damage component and then a dot again. It looks like I'm spitting in his face, but whatever. So, although it has a direct damage hit at the beginning there, it seems to not proc. Oh! Okay. Was just bad luck, I guess. Let's try again. Maybe there was something else that went off. Okay, so it also has a chance to proc from the first hit there, which is nice. Next thing, Rending Slashes, dealing 2700 physical damage and then dot, so it also has a direct damage ability. There you go, Teddy Bear came up. It also can proc Flames of Oblivion. So this is similar to the Deadly Cloak, but let's see if it actually can proc. Because the dot is around you and not on the enemy itself. And I have no magicka. Well. Okay, let me... Doesn't look like it's proccing at all. Yeah, nope. It might be because it's not considered melee damage because it has a radius of up to 15 meters, and usually everything that is further that can be applied then further than like 8-10 meters says nope. Maybe it's also because it's a magic ability, I'm not sure. Okay, we have Endless Hail. As you can see, it doesn't have any direct damage component and it doesn't proc Selene at all. And you have Rearming Trap. So it deals 2.6k damage and then it also has a dot, so technically it should proc Selene. Let's see. Maybe it's not classified as melee. Okay, it doesn't go off. Maybe it's just a bad luck or it really doesn't work. Now, poisoning injection, same thing. Poison damage, direct damage, and then a dot. But like the others, it's also ranged. Doesn't seem to go off. Working as intended. I mean, it is working as intended. Like, it's a ranged ability, so it shouldn't proc. A little bit disappointed in this one, though. Now, Cult drops range 28 meters, so it implies it's a ranged ability. It deals 1.76k physical damage every second. And now, when it initially explodes, it has a direct damage hit. But because it's ranged, technically it should not proc Selene. Okay, it doesn't proc. The venomous claw is 5 meters. Okay, 5 meters. Be 5-6 meters only. That's not very far. Get out of combat. Yeah, now it hit him. So it's probably 5 or 6 meters distance only, and that's about it. Now let's do full rotation on it. As you can see, when we also like look at Selene versus Veli, you have a weapon damage bonus on the one piece, and here a stamina bonus. Like I said, I have a 5-1-1 setup. Let me get back to the old buff food. So I almost hit 40k now, and I have still pretty nice health because of the Undaunted passive. I'm just gonna do 2 rotations with one Selene and one Velidreth, so we can kinda compare it a little bit. Now I did a heavy attack rotation on the front bar, so basically Selene 1.2k. It only procced 7 times over the whole fight. As you can see, I'm using the poison enchantment on the infused weapon, so I get higher single target than with a weapon damage glyph there, whatever. So 1.2k, the heavy attack rotation. Okay, now let's try with Velidreth. Velidreth 1.2k and he procced 8 times. So, I mean, you see, like now I had a little bit less DPS, but it like don't look at the DPS number at all, because it can be that I had less crits on one of the skills, etc. My rotation was slightly different, so maybe that's why I have less DPS here. Well, it's almost the same, like 40k, so whatever. But When we look at the Velidreth, basically the same amount of DPS on the skeleton, the same procs. So remember, Velidreth has a 9 seconds cooldown, and Seline, where are you? Has a 4-second cooldown. Yes, Seline does more damage, 13.2k, Velidreth 11.5k. The difference is not huge. But as you can see, Velidreth procced 8 times, and in the other one, Velidreth procced this one, yeah. Seline procced 7 times. The difference is not huge, but now what you need to be aware of, Seline only has a 6-meter range, remember. Velidreth is more. Like when you look, let's see if I hit. Still hits him from here, and there is 3 spores. Yes, you cannot hit the same enemy with 3 spores, but in a raid where AoE DPS is also very important, I do think Velidreth will perform overall better than Seline. Longer range, even if you have to go away because some AoE is happening, Velidreth will hit, Seline not. Then, if you're not really targeting really well, Velidreth has 3 spores, Seline only has the bear. So for me, Velidreth definitely wins, at least on a StamDK. Maybe on a Stamina Nightblade when you use surprise attack, for example. You might have more direct damage, so it will proc more often. But till then, I don't think that Seline will outperform Velidreth. Also the 1-piece bonus, you see, like 1 weapon damage transforms more or less into 10 stamina. So when we compare this, it's like 1260 stamina versus 933 stamina. So overall, our skills will also deal slightly more damage because we have weapon damage here and here is stamina. So yeah, that's more or less it about it. What do you think? I'm sure there is people that get really high uptimes on Seline, maybe on the skellies, but I do think Velidreth wins in almost all aspects in trials. What do you think? Please let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching the video. Cheers.